Part 3, making a kaleidoscope in Photoshop using transformations. And with this video, we are going to use blend modes. So this whole part 3 is going to be just using blend modes. Remember, we had these two layers that are flipped together horizontally. Then we did a 90-degree flip of this, and this layer is on top and covering these two layers, so we can't see them right now. If we are in normal, this is one, you'll see with the blend modes that you have this sectioned off. There are different ways that these work with blending, and blending means it blends from the top layer down to the bottom layer. And each of these different sections, and there are 6 different blend sections, work in different ways. The first one, the normal and dissolve, work by blending only through transparency of the top layer to see the bottom layer. So let's go right over here to transparency, opacity, and bring this down to maybe 50%. And you'll see how that blends. It blends only by the top layer being 50% transparent. So you see 50% of these layers below. If I change this to dissolve, it gets this pixelation effect in there. So that's how those first two work. Let's bring this back up to 100%. The next set, darken, works by darkening. And darken, multiply, color burn, linear burn, darker color, all work by darkening. They darken anything that is white in the blend layer, that's the top layer, becomes invisible. Anything darker than white darkens the pixels below. So let's see how that works. It darkens the pixels below. So anything darker darkens the pixels below. So this darker color does work if you want something darker. The rest of these I don't find that effective. The darken might be okay, but it looks like this maybe this or the darker color might work better. But I don't think I would use that with this group here. The next group, which is lighten. Lighten, screen, color dodge, linear dodge, and lighter color all work by, it's a lightening blend. Anything black in the blend layer, the top layer, becomes invisible. Anything brighter than black will darken pixels below. So you have a lot, if you look at this normal layer, you have a lot of light areas here. You have some darken, which will darken the pixels below. But if we use any of the lighter, you'll see that this works pretty well because we have a lot of bright light colors. So any of these make interesting combinations. The next one down, which starts with overlay, soft light, hard light, vivid light, linear light, pin, and hard mix. Those are by contrast. This next section, overlay, is by contrast. It mixes the lighten and darken blend modes to create a contrast. It mixes by contrast. So it makes it more vivid, more contrasty, darker, brighter. So I'm not that interested in these combinations with this. It works with other things well, but with this just very much of a bright, vivid image, it's not quite as effective. The next set, difference, exclusion, subtract, and divide. These. Let's go back here. Go to my difference. Okay, difference. Difference and those other three are called inversions. This looks for color and brightness variations between the blend layer and the base layer. So difference, so it looks for differences between these. So really interesting and really different effects. So these are called inversions. These 4 are inversion blends. Looks for color and brightness variations. Now the next one, hue, saturation, color, luminosity, are called component blends. They use different combinations of the primary color, which would be, when we talk about color, it's hue, which is the color, saturation, which is the intensity of the color, and the brightness, dark to light, to create a blend. So let's look at this: hue, saturation, color, and luminosity. I'm going to use this hue for my choice in this layer. And let's do a file, save as, and this is going to be test number 3. Save it as a Photoshop document. So this will be your 3rd one. And please continue watching this under Kaleidoscope Part 4.